que el Centurion acaba de quedar primero de suizo en el ICS Niagara. La verdad, me sorprende. ¿Por qué? Porque es un mazo que juega bien en torno a Mulcharmy, juega bien en torno a Shifter, no juega a Fiensmith, no juega a Sneak Eyes. Y la verdad está bastante económico. En Twitch, ¿qué ventajas hay si me hago sub? Que consigues más puntos del canal. Literalmente. Y luego que hay directos que solo se hacen en la plataforma morada, Eden. Pero bueno, yo al final ya siempre digo que la gente que se quiere suscribir al canal es de forma para aportar más que otra cosa, ¿vale? Aquí tenemos ahora el vídeo y dentro cámaras. Me hace gracia porque parece ser que lo han grabado directamente desde su casa. En plan, acaban de llegar.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Anyways, hope you guys are doing good. I recently just went 10-0 in Swiss.
Sí, 10-0, tío. 10-0.
Centurion out of all decks. And I thought it was a really good meta call for the format because Shifter, Furrows, and Pirellia, in my opinion, dominated the format. A lot of players are playing Tenpai, and I thought it was going to be the most represented deck. So I believe that in order to get through Swiss and to to have the best chance to do well in the YCS is to play a deck that did not care about any of those. Guys, no cap. Literally round 2, round 3, I played against Tenpai, and they literally opened like the Shifter.
Mira, aquí ya directamente está comentando que aparte que la baraja de Centurion ha ganado soporte muy bueno, que yo quiero hacer de profe en el canal. Centurion sé lo que algo, Synchro o Centurion, temporalmente en Centurion, ¿vale? No había ganado Skystaker. Skystaker quedó segunda. Esta baraja quedó primero de suizo, no del Top Cat, ¿vale? Eso es diferencia. A mí se me hace un deck muy bueno, por lo que comenta que principalmente las cartas de mayor impacto del formato, este deck juega muy fácil y además puede llevar Bystials, con lo que la ventaja de cementerio a los engines de oscuridad y luz lo tiene muy por delante, muy por delante.
Like, I literally looked at my opponent, I'm like, am I starting? Yeah, you are. I'm like, oh my goodness.
O sea, además dice que es un muy buen deck contra Tenpai.
And that's why I thought it was a really good option. But yeah, today, guys, I'm gonna get right into the profile. But before I do, huge shoutouts, guys, to the Team Samurai X1. I mean, Supreme Pro.
O sea, me molaría tener este setup algún día, tío. Esto es mi sueño de youtuber, ¿eh? ¿Os imagináis un setup así? Plaquita, Kuribo, el Yugi, carta de la... A ver, aquí, ¿qué cartas tendría yo en mi setup, chavales? ¿Qué cartas tendría en mi setup? Yo tendría que tener un Ulticanahau, un Empen, un Circular... ¡Buah! Pedazo setup me marcaría, ¿eh? Literalmente. Grande, Cervex. Aquí estamos viendo. Muchas gracias, tío. Espero que lo estés pasando bien.
Guys, you already know, best sleeves in the game. If you guys are looking to upgrade your
un Nibiru.
just,
el Nibiru me lo tengo que poner en el techo. En el techo.
Go check out texas1.com and use pack 10 for that exclusive 10% off. You know what I'm saying? And
also, una
guys, huge shouts to my meta.
Vamos a ver la lista, ¿vale? Porque es larga, ¿vale?
Let's get into the profile. Yeah, so decided to play Centurion.
3 de la que busca.
The starters. So these are all one card combos.
No sé si os pasa a vosotros, tío, que los mazos de sincronías, tío, se me hacen los mazos más justos. Más justos, sí, sí. Lástima que a revés solo llego a top 8, creo que fue top 16, pero me alegra verlo ahí. Y que sea una mujer que nunca veo en top. Sí, yo también, tío, yo también. Eso está muy bien, eso está muy bien. También te digo, la lista, yo entiendo que fue una jugadora que no tenía el mayor presupuesto del mundo, porque jugó sin las Mulcharmies y sin cartas que yo hubiera jugado. Pero sí, sí, me alegra por las dos partes. Viva Ritual Beast, viva Ritual Beast.
All the one card combos now end on like pretty much like double Blazar and 2 draws, which a lot of people think this deck is like shit, but in reality it actually does a lot for I guess like the current deck of the for the current format.
Comenta que ahora el mazo con el nuevo soporte puede generar varios robos y sacar un total de 2 omninegaciones. Y la lista, por lo general, se juega con mucha disrupción de mano, entonces toda esa ventaja que está generando con las cartas le va a dar una utilidad doble, cosa que está muy bien.
So, but yeah, you have 3 Primera, which is like this is like Rotas, and it searches any Centurion card in your deck. I like this card. This is probably my favorite starter, mainly because when you get Furrows or Pirellia or all that good stuff, this card can search you the Phalanx. so that under like you give your opponent like no draws when they free roast you, and this card can like search the trap to like have
qué
a form of
duro.
interruption still.
Literalmente acaba de decir que hace combo de Fugaro sin robar cartas el otro. Le hace un -1. Literalmente es un -1. Porque lo bueno del arquetipo de Centurión es que puedes sincronizar en turno del rival con la carta de campo. Entonces, imagínate que te tire el rival doble Fugaros o Fugaros Shifter. Invoques normal primera, pongas el setup ahí de PM y le esquipeas todo el turno, ¿eh? Y el otro se queda con cara de tonto con los -1s.
And then you have, of course, the 3 Chudea. This one, funny enough, is a pyro, so you can actually bonfire for it, which I actually did against Jesse. Actually, and Jesse was like, "Bro, you play bonfire?" I'm like, "I know. It feels kind of weird not searching saying I asked with bonfire, but yeah, Chudea is really good. She can place herself and in the scale.
Qué ganitas tengo que me llegue el mazo, tío. Me molan los mechas, tío. ¿A quién no le gustan los mechas, tío? ¿A quién no le gustan los mechas? Yo me declaro autofan de TTGL, ¿vale? Tengen Topa, Gurren Lagann, buen anime, os lo recomiendo, ¿eh? De hecho, creo que este mazo es full referencias a esa serie. Centurion.
So there's that. And then we have, of course, more one card combos. We have 3 stand-ups. Guys, I promise you the collector's in my bag. I just didn't get it from my bag, okay? Do not judge. And then, of course, we have the 1 terraforming. Yeah, so these are also one
son buenos starters porque tiene emblema, 3 emblemas, más las 4 son 7, 13 iniciadores. Está bien. 13 iniciadores está muy bien. Está muy bien.
Beautiful part about this card is that it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. So Ogre was gaining a lot more popularity this YCS. But one of the things that you can do is you can activate this card can your opponent card effect while you control a Centurion monster card. So you can like commit your normal summons to like the Centurions first, and then if it gets stopped, you can then play stand up after the fact, which can play on Ogre, which is I think is
esa es buena.
Nice.
El factor, lo que está comentando, que es indestructible la carta si tienes un Centurión, pues le permite ahí. Sí, totalmente. Muy buena.
And then also, this card is what allows you to play through your opponent's turn. I actually won like multiple games through D-Barrier. I think I won almost every single game I got D-Barrier this event, funny enough, because of stand-up Centurion, where like I hand shot my opponent, they like thrust for a barrier, and I was like, okay, sure, no problem. I'll search Phalanx, set up so that I can Synchro summon on their turn, or sometimes I just OTK them, quite frankly.
Guau, qué bueno que puedas jugar en torno a Barrier, tío.
Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite field spells, for sure right now. And then of course we have 3 Emblemas Oath. This card is also really crazy, and now it's, guys, finally searchable.
Claro. Es que el factor de que esa carta sea buscable, porque han sacado esta sincronía, chavales. Esta sincronía tiene varios efectos, pero el simple hecho de que te busque emblema y la otra carta que tiene ahí, que va a enseñar, te dé un robo cada turno por tener el emblema y una carta Centurión es una locura. Es completamente una locura.
I think this card is like everything you wanted card. It's a starter, it's an extender, it's an extra interruption.
Le pregunto FedEx, iré a su podcast.
So these are like your 13 starters, right? So these all do the
muy buena.
Card combo.
Me gusta.
And then we're gonna get into some more stuff. We have Centurion Archery and Centurion Gargoyle. These are basically like engine requirements that you have to play in the deck in order to have your deck function. Oh, sorry guys, one more shout. Huge shouts to Santoli and Rayhan. I also like talked to them about the event, and then also like Cam, who also like helped me test this event as well. And then of course like Sam. I always test with these guys like for events, but yeah, like I said, if you guys want to be part of like the testing group, then
mira, el de la izquierda es el que genera robos. El segundo es Dragón Oscuridad y te puentea con Bystials. O sea, es una locura. Una locura. Si Pac le hizo jugar a medio mundo por subir de ganar al meta con 3 Stucker, no dudo que ahora los más normales van a jugar Centurion de borregos. A ver, el vídeo de Structure de Trap Tricks, la dificultad que tuvo de esos oponentes fue muy XT, ¿vale? Fue muy XT. Pero lo de Centurion, yo ya lo tenía avisado de antes que este mazo iba a ser bueno. Pero sí, buenas, Coti.
Join the Metafy in the description box below. But yeah, to continue with the rest of this, yeah, we have Centurion Archery. This card came out in info. And this card basically is like a HIZO. It draws you a card whenever you have an emblem in your graveyard alongside a Centurion card. So this card basically is what allows you to get multiple draws. Then you have Centurion Gargoyle.
Que se recicla, la del token.
Better than Emeth. And then you have Wake Up Centurion, which allows you to do This card lets you play under Shifter, because when you get Shiftered, Wake Up Centurion can summon a token, the level 8 token, and then make Auxilla, and then search the field spell. And then Auxilla can place a Centurion monster in the spell and traps off of itself, and then you have Centurion Bonds. This card is amazing. I thought this card was like, I wanted to cut this card when I first picked up the deck, but then I was like, bro, I just didn't know the lines. That was the issue why I wanted to cut it. But then after I figured out some of the lines with Bonds, it made it so every time you open like these weird combinations of like Gargoyle or Ultra in your hand, Bonds just lets you play through them. Bonds is also really cool because when it's in the graveyard, you can use it to chain block your Legacy on your opponent's turn when you make it. Because whenever a Centurion monster is synchro summoned, you can banish it to place any Centurion monster in the spell and trap zone. So
sí, le da recovery. Esa carta da recovery.
Extend, when you open really awkward, as well as it helps you.
El no mazo es un cabrón, tío. Yo la verdad, yo también estoy preparando la tempaineta, chavales. Vamos a jugar unos remotes. Unos remotes de habilidad. Pero muy skillet, muy skillet. Tenemos aquí apartados. Que si las Purelias. Me queda solo un impulso. Yo creo que va a ser Yugioh de calidad. Yugioh de calidad. Total. Ya juego un mazo de Shifter ganador. Pero mira, sí. Aquí ya tenemos las 3 Mulcharmis preparaditas. Luego tenemos las impulsos que conseguimos 2 en el mensual. Así que sin fallo, sin fallo. Aquí hay que jugar. Pero sí, Tempai es una locura, tío. Tempai es una locura.
Play through Ash Blossom on your Legacy is really, really nice as well. And then you have double Phalanx.
Eso es nuevo.
I play 2. A lot of people play 1. The reason why I play 2 is because I think it's a really good card to just open. So when you go first and you open Phalanx, it's a free discard. So basically when you only play 1, it becomes kind of a brick if you draw it. And you have to find creative ways to get out of your hand. But I figured that I just play 2 because I like ending on it. Because against like the Yubel matchup, for example, if you Phalanx your opponent's Phantom of Yubel,
Está Profile de Sky, luego lo veremos.
The next time I face because it wasn't properly summoned. And then this card, when you can banish it from the graveyard to reborn any Centurion Synchro, which is kind of like the main combo line now. You use Wake Up and then to send the Phalanx, and use Phalanx to kind of reborn a Centurion.
Sí, además esa se retira para revivir. Es buena.
So this is kind of like pretty much. Yeah,
igual esta es la peor parte del deck, tío, pero esos mini bricks.
As you guys can see.
Pero lo bueno es que todo esto ocupa un pelín menos de 20 o 20 exactas. O sea, sí, que lo que queda aquí de mazo, chavales, full hand traps. Full hand traps a todo gas.
Pretty much mandatory. Second Phalanx is optional, but I really, really like 2. I think it's really good, especially in the grind game as well. And then we have like the other sub engine.
Esto es muy bueno, tío.
The Rebellion package.
Como Dragon Link Player, chavales. Como Dragon. El mejor mazo de dragones, no la Tempai ahora de estas modas. La Regain es de las mejores cartas que ha tenido Dragon Link, tío. Sin contar el Chaos Ruler, con todo el respeto, pero es que generar reciclaje más un robo en cada turno. Estamos hablando que con este mazo robas 3 cartas en tu turno y robas 3 cartas en turno rival. O sea, sí, la cantidad de pluses que tiene este deck, chavales, no tiene sentido. No tiene sentido. Yo hay veces que me planteo jugar incluso 2 copias de Regain, porque es muy buena, esta carta es muy buena.
And then I played 1 Regain, and then I played the 3 Bystials. So, basically, I wanted like a level 8 engine, a sub-engine, which in this case is Rebellion, that allows...
Esto te conecta principalmente con el Gargolite. Y encima hay varios dragones, tío. Hay bastantes dragones. Qué lástima que Centurion no me gusta absolutamente nada. Buah, a mí me flipa, Vista de control es muy... Está muy gracias a esa carta. Sí, no. Y además ahora con el... Mira que a mí la mejor versión de Dragon Link actual sería una Dragon Link con Centurion, pero la Bystial Control con el soporte de Metalmorph está muy bien, Ese mazo está muy bien.
Allowed me to, push through an Imprimer Veiler on Primera, but also the fact that these are also serves as non-engine into boards, right? So the Bystials are just really, really good at dealing with, I believe, the Azamina cards. Because of the fact that like you can target like the Azamina fusion when they try to like add back the fusion spell. And the Bystials are just really good. They have a lot of really good synergy with the deck because they allow you to make Chaos Angel, and I think like that was like the main selling point for these cards. And I knew I wanted to play Bystials in the deck just because it works really well with the Centurion cards. I think Chaos Angel won me so many games off of it alone. And Branded Regain allows you to do like there's like a draw 6 combo. I literally like freestyle during the tournament.
Y el factor de que te recicles el extra, es que eso es lo que mejor tiene. Además el combo con SP, tío, de quitarte tú la SP, quitar bicho del rival, reciclar el bicho que le quitas, eso es muy bueno.
3 cards on my opponent's turn, another 3 cards on my opponent's turn, where like you draw off Regain, all tree, and then Legacia, and then your opponent's turn you draw off regain, all tree, Legacia again. So yeah, I think this engine was really, really good. So and then to go into the hand traps, I decided to play obviously the 3 Bystials as you guys see, the 3 Ash Blossom, right, the 3 Effect Veiler, the 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Nibiru, 2 Mourner, and then we have 3 more impermanents, right? So we played 18 hand traps. I think this was the reason why I did so well. A lot of people decided to main deck Fururos, but I decided not to main deck Fururos because I think the card is just not really that good in the main deck. A lot of times, my issue.
¿Por qué no mainear Fugaros? Es que es mi pregunta. ¿Qué razón hay en un deck que tiene un descarte gratuito, casi asegurado, no jugar Fugaros? ¿Sabes? Entiendo que igual es por espacio, pero yo sí que hubiera jugado playset de Fugaros. 100%, pero 100%. Entiendo que el Nibiru es para algún mazo, pero igual quitando los Nibirus a banquillo y los Veiler y un Veiler, yo hubiera metido aquí triple Fugaros. Se me hace muy bueno. Muy bueno. Sí, jugador budget. Sí, sí, totalmente budget, chavales. Totalmente budget. Low rarity.
Issue with Fururos is that you get 1 or 2 draws off it, but your deck's engine isn't really that good at going second. So I'd rather just kind of like hard stop my opponent instead of letting them get to a half board. So like in Centurion, for example, like if I like Fururos or Pearling my opponent, it would be in game 2 where I sided it in. Because I want to have, you know, like 25, like I want to draw into like hand.
A ver, el main deck quitando las rarezas es muy budget. Quiero decir, muy budget. Llevar el engine de Centurion cuesta menos de 100 pavos. Los Bystials te puedo contar 12, 15 pavos. Los Lubelion o 12. Es decir, valen esos precios. Quiero decir, es un main deck competitivo muy barato, muy barato. Y luego ya pues habría que jugar, si no tenéis acceso a Mulcharme, sin Mulcharme.
Like and not like not like draw into like more like engine cards. So that's why I think they were like way better post side. I decided to play like the 2 Ogre,
me gusta
the 2
mucho.
Nib, and the 2 Mourner because I just want like these are like kind of hard once per turn hand traps. So I wanted diversity.
Hydro entiendo que no lo juegue porque roba mucho en turno rival.
Ash is an exception because I think Ash is like the best generic one, so I don't mind playing 3 of it. But the 3 Veiler, 3 Imperms are like hand traps that you can use if you even draw multiples of. But these are hand traps that like literally, if you draw multiples of them, it's really bad because it's like you play with a 4-card hand, right? And so I really wanted to avoid that, so I decided to play the 2 Mourner, the 2 Ogre, and 2 Nib, and they worked really well for me. Nib is really good too because if you draw going first, like you pretty much auto win because they just can never clear your board and then play around Nib. Mourner was really, really good because they were like the 7th and 8th copy of Veiler and Imperm, which was insane to the Azamina deck. Like I literally did not lose to a single Snake Eyes, and I beat like I think 5 Snake Eyes opponents.
Qué duro.
So like it was honestly the Snake Eye match was like really free when you have like.
Además la Moonlight esa no es mala contra Tenpai, tío.
And then Ogre was just like because it was overall very good into like random rogue decks. It was good into like the Azamina engine. Because if you stop the Azamina engine, then they don't have an Omni negate. So,
no, pero Ogre está bien, tío. Golpeas el campo Tenpai. Golpeas el campo, la de Azamina. Golpeas la Nightmare Pain, que decir, está bien. Está bien. Me dan mucha lástima esos mazos con mucho potencial, pero por falta de 1 o 2 cartas necesarias que nunca llegaron, se quedan en mazos que podían brillar en horizonte. Hay muchos mazos así, Hay muchos mazos así.
Like Nib, Veiler, or Imperm, or like or Ash or something, and they just like worked really well into the rest of their deck. So, yeah, that's why I thought these hand trap line was really, really good. I know it looks really weird to see that this is probably one of the few decks that top the YCS without main deck Fururos, but I think it actually made a lot of sense because
hay mucha gente que no ha maineo,
when you go first and you get stopped, which my deck doesn't really play through like that many hand traps, right? I don't want to be sitting on dead cards. I'd rather have
Insectos está bien. Centurion pura. Centurion pura. No, con Wait Forest no. Con Wait Forest metes a Zamina. Y si quieres jugar algo con Centurion, juega Dragon Link. Dragon Link está muy bien.
Strategy worked really, really well. I know it's like very counterintuitive, but the more I thought about it, like I think it just made the most sense. And like I said, I think this deck was a really good.
Muchas gracias, Abraham, por seguirnos.
I knew people would main deck it, even though I didn't necessarily agree with the fact that they were main decking Fururos.
Sí, vas al side deck.
Literally, all my opponents who Fururos parlayed me game 1, they all lost.
Claro, es que aquí comenta eso, de que no le hacía nada, literalmente, a la Fugaros. No le hace nada. No hace nada. Buenas, Dani.
Side parent, you can check out the classroom, but basically I go to like about 24 to 27 hand traps, so I go from 18 to 24, and these.
Luego miramos una lista de Ferkin puro.
I believe that the Melchummies in my deck are a lot more impactful because I have 18 hand traps on top of the Melchummy, not 18 hand traps including Melchummy, and that's a very important distinction because when these cards resolve, I'm drawing like infinite ways to keep stopping my opponent. So yeah, I think that's just really, really good. And then I played through Retaliating C. I think this is like
Esto sí que es buenísimo, tío. Esta carta es muy buena con todos los Azamina que hay, ¿eh? Te toca Azamina, te toca cualquier baraja tipo la Quimera. Esto es una locura. Todas en quarter, tío. Justo por decirlo, saca la carta en común. Ahora saca la carta. ¿Ahora le vais a decir algo? De las Retaliating en común. ¿Por qué no las tiene ultra? ¿Por qué no las tiene ultra? ¿Eh? ¿Sabes que las tiene ultra? Pero no tiene esas quarters. Espérate. Vengo a flexear porque yo sí que tengo mi mazo de insectos, hombre. Yo sí que tengo mi mazo de insectos. ¿Sabes? Yo sí que las tengo. Yo sí que las tengo. Que luego os quejáis. Retaliating Fantraptics. Van todos los mazos. Yo las tengo en ultra. No valen una mierda. Pero es que yo... No es por nada, pero gané un nacional jugando Retaliating, ¿sabes? Y esta Retaliating siempre en una rareza buena. 100%, 100%. Pero bueno, Yoshi Pack me cambia las Fugaros Quarter por las Retaliating C en ultra. Yo le acepto el cambio, ¿eh? Cameron Neal no ganó un mundial con Pix, según tengo entendido.
Chimera, and Retaliating C just basically macrocosmos them and then stops them from pushing forward. Because you know how hard it is to hand trap the Fiendsmith Chimera.
Es muy buena, tío. Esa carta muy buena.
And then not only that, Retaliating C was also really good into the Azamina Snake Eyes deck because the new combo line.
Además es un nivel 4. ¿Cómo se dice? Es un nivel 4 que te ayuda a combar con el Centurion. O sea, es literalmente, es que es muy bueno. Y si consigues hacer el segundo efecto de la Retaliating C de búsqueda, ahí rematas. Por eso me gusta mucho en la Trooper.
En Secret Azamina, you can chain Retaliating C to it to macrocosmos your opponent. And because the cards off Secret Azamina is not hitting the graveyard, they won't be able to special summon the fusion monster. And then Retaliating C is really, really strong because it's a level 4 monster. So
yo estoy super dotes.
And they pass, you can then normal summon a Primera. You go Primera effect. They can't Veiler you under the Retaliating C because
eso está rotísimo.
Face up on the board. And then you're able to search the stand up. Then you can link Synchro summon using the Primera and the Retaliating C into a Primera Primus. And then even if they hand trap you and Veiler you there, you already got access to your field spell because of the Primera resolving. So this card just has a lot of like, really neat applications that are really, really
buena
like.
Carta.
And also, Retaliating C is also good into like the runic decks, obviously. So if they activate any of the runic cards,
hostia, contra runic,
it would automatically get banished. Or like usually.
¿Lo ves? Runic sí que la juega mucho en mi. Es que cubres White Forest también, Muy buena.
Fusion matchups, and then of course like Snake Eyes. Then for going first, so this is gonna look a little bit weird, but I decided to side. Well, this is not weird at all, but I think this is the best floodgate of the format. Deck Lockdown. This deck has a very cool interaction with this. And then of course there can only be one. But basically deck Lockdown says neither can add cards from deck to their hand except by drawing them, and monsters can always special summon from the main deck. The thing is, I knew that a lot of people would be on back row removal. And even if they were, right, it didn't matter. Well, why? Because Centurion like
protege Bacro, es que
says all face-up spells and trap cards that you control cannot be destroyed by your
Madre mía.
So this is, or cannot be destroyed by card effects. And this is really important because when you have deck Lockdown with Auxilla, they can't Lightning Storm your back row against.
Y encima hay una carta que hace que los niveles 5 más de Centurion no se destruyan. Que creo que es el efecto de primera como carta continua. Así que literalmente esta sincronía está protegiendo la Floodgate y luego el otro Centurion protege. Menudo candado. Joder, Julio, los chistes, chavales, los chistes.
To get rid of your deck Lockdown or duster you. And then if they try to get rid of Auxilla, they can't because Primera has a secret effect in the spell and trap zone.
Yo me la conozco, that, like, que en mi ciudad juega mucho Centurion.
That are level 5 or higher cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So they couldn't write Geki to clear Auxilla, and they couldn't Storm to clear deck Lockdown. So it was a nice, it's a very good lock against like Tenpai. And so I'll be honest, guys, I have like a 90-10 Tenpai matchup. Like I'm talking about like my opponents in testing would open like Shifter, Furos, Lightning Storm, Raigeki, Chandra, Field Spell, and they will lose. And literally, I'm not even like. I wish I was exaggerating.
No, el
but,
combo me
you know,
gusta, el
the
combo me
inner
gusta.
circle people have seen the replays. They've seen what I've showed them, and
No, esto es
literally
banquillo,
this deck
chavales.
just destroys like Tenpai, and I wanted to beat that deck, guys, because.
Sí, sí, no, como el mago, pero el mago solo protege a los de atrás. Luego no se protege el mago a sí mismo, creo.
Like Yubel matchup and then Senpai matchup. So there's that. And then
Uf, qué raro.
this is gonna look really weird, but I thought this was like the goo. Some deck building goo. So basically, like, you know, I obviously already consider that these are the best going first cards for the deck, but instead of trying to side more go first cards like Judgment, Strikes, or like, you know, I don't know, like anti-spell, skill drain, or something like that, I wanted to side more ways to play the game, because I think that like you can't just floodgate your opponent, hope to win off the backbone and floodgate your opponent. You also need to access your engine. So I decided to side a Bonfire to get the 14 copy of one card starter, because again at Trudea, and I decided Prosperity because honestly, if you have
Prosperity te la compro, tío.
Deck,
pero la Bonfire se me hace muy random,
they should be siding Joel against your deck. So that's why these cards are a lot better post side, because people take Joel out of their deck against you. But even if they have Joel, the deck can still play under Joel.
Además esto es muy barato, tío. Está muy barato esa Floodgate si la queréis.
I think Joel is less impactful post side.
No sé, esto está muy bien, tío.
Be taking out of their deck.
Luego aquí está el extra, ¿no? Que lleva.
You know, this is a hand trap board type of deck, so
sí, no, Typhoon es muy bueno.
On top in a lot of grind games, especially against like SP. Then of course you have to play SP Little Knight,
con Bystial.
IP Masquerena, and then we play Artemis. Shout out to Marco from Italy for giving this to me as a gift. But yeah, so these are all really good. IP is a card that you end on quite a lot, especially if you get hand trapped. And then if you open Rebellion plus any one card starter, you end on IP on top of your board for
claro,
free,
haces SP, sí.
Which is really, really good removal. And you have SP Little Knight, obviously, for removal. Artemis is a card that can link off the Primera, into Artemis, and then you can go into SP Little Knight.
Con un Bystial, por ejemplo, sí.
To banish a card.
Sí.
You can also do it with Effect Veiler, which came up for me where I opened Rebellion and Effect Veiler, and I linked off the Veiler into an Artemis so that I can SP my opponent. Then we played Scarlight.
Un poquito de burneo.
It's a way to nuke your opponent's board.
Sí, limpia y hace burneo. Quiero decir, es que es un todo en uno.
But thought it'd be useful to have it. Played 2 Centurion.
Esta yo pensaba que solo se iba a jugar una, tío. Sobre todo porque es reciclable. Justo porque es reciclable. Pero no, parece ser que es muy buena, tío.
Guys, cards like Omega Custom. I don't even know what to tell you. I played 2. I see a lot of people online are playing 1. I really do think 2 is really good because you make one going first, and then if it gets stopped, you can make a second one on your opponent's turn. Why is this card so good, and why is it a 2 of? Well, first off, when you're locking into Centurions off of like, when you're locking into Centurions, or like you can only access like a Synchro 8 or Synchro 12 on your opponent's turn, but you don't already have a 12 up. Like
vale. Que si estás bloqueado a Centurión en el turno de tu oponente, tener la segunda ayuda. Eso lo entiendo.
And Auxilla, right, are not, or Legasha is an interruption on your opponent's turn because you pop a card and you draw a card. Auxilla just searches you a card. Well, Premier Primus, not only does it search Oath, it has the ability to pop one card on your field and one card on your opponent's side of the field. So the fact that this card is a removal for like the Tenpai field spell, or like it can be used to pop Nightmare Pain, is I think just too good. So you know, this card only gets rid of monsters. This card could be
vale, esa es buena, sí. Entonces
that's why this card is a 2 of in my opinion. And then for this other Centurion synchros, I played double Legacia. And then
este no lo tengo, tío. Esto vino en la lata, chavales. ¿La C que te obliga a usarlo como material es bueno contra Zamina? No. No, que va. Eso no. Esta carta no sé si vino en la lata. Supongo que sí. Pero yo no tengo. Trudea debería llamarse segunda. Y luego tercera, cuarta, quinta, sí.
Card combo ends on both Auxilla and Legacia face up. So sometimes you want to make a Legacia on the turn 3, or if you want to make a second Legacia on your opponent's turn. So that's like the main reason why. And yeah, I find myself going for Legacia Auxilla a lot actually, just because like I like having both the big.
¿Dónde está el Quasar? Lo sacará ahora. Lo que no sé es si se llevarán 2 o 1. Yo entiendo que 2, desde que no está el otro.
It's just really, really good. So yeah, those are the Centurions.
Han tocado Calamity, Centurion. Si ya se jugaba poco, se jugará nada. O el Centurion, primero el suizo.
Also the other reason is because of Unicorn. So like basically playing multiples of this. And
Ah, bueno,
multiples
sí,
of this,
eso también, lo
made it so
Castilla
that
está bien.
people played Unicorn and they like played our YCS Cancun list. Like having doubles of these are really really good. I don't really mind if they rip Oxilla. If they do, having like 2 of this and 2 of this was, in my opinion, still really really good. Because Unicorn is when they would have gone first. So Green would go second with these. I thought were like better. Like you don't really need Oxilla to go second, but Legacia and Primus to clear their board and search and break their board is more important than the one Oxilla. So that's why Oxilla is the one of. And then we have some more.
Mira, sí que lleva 2
Synchros.
Bystial. Chaos Ángel, buenísimo.
Phenomenal. When you make it with a light and dark, it's really hard for a lot of decks.
Aquí, los Synchros, tío, aquí viene la buena sinergia con los Bystials. De hecho, Dispater se me hace custom, tío.
Because we play the Bystial package, and there's a really cool play where you can like use the Bystial to actually banish a
Centurion y revivirlo, madre mía.
And then you can use this Potter to summon a Legacia or the Auxiliary back from the
qué
bench.
roto, tío.
That was really nice.
Qué roto.
I mean, at that point you Omega win, but in the grind games, these cards are just like ways like you like pretty much like establish like game. And then of course we have the Crimson Dragon. And then we have
los dos para negar.
2 Cosmic Blazars, guys. This is
Me faltan Blazars, no tengo. Tendré que pillarlos de la lata.
This is like the best Omni-Negate in the game at the moment, in my opinion, because it banishes itself for cost and it just comes back against like the Tenpai matchup. You can actually banish.
Y acaba la battle, esta carta contra Tenpai.
To negate an attack. You can also use this to negate a summon. And so like they have like the Tenpai field spell up. You can use Quasar to negate the summon, so that it bypasses the field spell protection, which is crazy. And of course, it's Omni-Negate for literally anything. If you have Tune Rotation, I've never lost. And yeah, every 1-card combo ends on double Blazar.
Lo que me gusta del mazo es que realmente lo veo muy adaptable a presupuesto. Quiero decir, el main deck es muy budget. El extra, quitando rarezas. Y del side deck, la combinación de la Floodgate la veo jugable. Y quiero decir, quitando esto, puedes meter 3 Phantasmace para robar literalmente los Bystials, Posiade y Nibiru. Y es un mazo que está muy bien, tío, para todo el que quiera jugar un mazo de Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitivo, bueno, bonito, barato, que no le afecte Mulcharmy, que no le afecte que tenga líneas bajo Shifter y que encima no juegue Finsmith ni Snake Eyes, ni tampoco tenga que jugar Impulso. Este mazo cumple todas las condiciones. Espero que te haya gustado mi opinión acerca de la baraja Centurion de pack. La verdad es un mazo que también tengo pensado traer al canal y tiene muy buena pinta. Dale like, comenta, suscríbete y nos vemos hasta el siguiente vídeo.